in a wonderful, wonderful novel called Shibumi, which I recommend to you if you haven't read it. A man who operates at this high level, Nikolai, is in a cell, and he's been kept there for 3 years and is in solitary confinement because he's trying to be controlled by the authorities in Japan. And when he is taken out, this American knocks on his prison cell after 3 years of having total solitary confinement and says to him, "We have an assignment for you. We have something that we would like you to do for us, for the CIA, and you better take it because opportunity doesn't knock twice. What we're going to do is offer you your freedom." And he said to him something very significant. He said, "What you offer me is my liberty. I have my freedom. I've always had my freedom. You can never take that away from me. And these are my conditions for doing what I want. And I'm going back to my cell, and unless you're willing to meet them," he said, "I'd appreciate it when you come back tomorrow and knock on my cell that you knock twice so that I don't confuse you with opportunity." It's the kind of line that you always want to have, and you think of it 4 days later. But when you're writing a novel, you can put it right in there just like that. But that the corner of freedom that people have is the ability, and this is what he was saying, to use his mind in the most creative and personal way that he wanted to. And in place of knowledge, people in our culture somehow have achievement. It's almost an irony when we look at, for example, what do we mean by a college education? See, college education, we purchase credits. I mean, you do it, and you put down money, and you buy a certain number of credits, and then you go through a certain number of rules. And it has nothing to do with knowledge. None of it has anything to do with knowledge or what you're learning, what it means to you, how it applies in your life. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with, how do I fit into this system? How do I please that authority figure up there called a teacher? And what do I do? And how many pages do I write? And when is it due? And how many books do I have to read? It's a system that has nothing to do with knowledge. And yet we somehow confuse it. We think that you can purchase knowledge. And you can't. Obviously. But there's another kind of freedom other than just the freedom to express yourself and the freedom to vote and things like that. And that's the freedom that comes from knowing how to really enjoy your own life and all that your life is. And this is a freedom that can never be taken away from you, even in the worst of circumstances, even by putting you into a jail cell. You can't take that away. It's the knowing. That's a key word. It's the knowing of having control over your own mind. Knowing that. It isn't just that you read it or you listen to me say it or whatever, but that you develop this powerful awareness that I truly am in charge of all that I am as a human being. And like once you get that knowingness, that it isn't circumstances and that it isn't the terrible things in life or the things that we've judged to be terrible that make our lives what they are or what they are not. It is how we process them. It is thinking that makes it so, as Shakespeare said. Then freedom is yours. It's yours to use at any time that you want to use it. Happiness and enjoyment are not things that you get out of life. They're not rewards that come to you. They're not something that is going to be the result of you behaving in a certain way or living a certain lifestyle. Happiness and enjoyment are inner processes, and they are what you bring to life. They are yours, and yours alone, to have at any time that you want to have them. And no matter what the circumstance that you can think of, no matter how bad it may seem for you, you always have this corner of freedom to choose to process it the way that you want to. And I mean, I've seen examples of this kind of thing. I mean, I've seen the extreme examples of people who have put their minds into a place where they're capable of having a pin put right through their arm and not experience any pain. I've seen hundreds of people walk across hot burning coals and experience no burning of the flesh whatsoever. And you think to yourself, well, wait a minute, when flesh is put to burning coals, you get
burnt flesh. That's just the physical laws of the universe. And yet it's not. I've seen people overcome just unbelievable fears that you would think that no one else could do, and do it all through this exquisite power of the mind, of your thoughts. And so happiness, or fulfillment, or enjoyment, or whatever, if you get nothing else, get this really clear for yourself, that they have nothing to do with the circumstances of your life. It's not relevant. It's not even an issue that you ought to be bringing up. Over and over you'll hear, yeah, it's easy for you to say that you can be happy because, and then they'll list all the reasons why somebody else can, and then to come up with, these are all the reasons why I can't be happy. And this list will be very, very long indeed. Never ever once saying, well, the reason that I am not happy is because I don't bring happiness to what I'm doing. It's because I'm looking for happiness as some external thing that is going to come to me. It's like what Ike says, there is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way. And happiness is the way is something that some people have all of their lives. It's something that I have had as long as I can remember, and it's the thing that I can remember my mother tells me about when I was an infant, when I was just like 2 years old, before we were moved away for a while, and when we came back, and throughout all of my teen years and so on, that I was always someone who knew how to make other people laugh and how to enjoy life, and would always look at the bright side of things rather than the negative side.